Okay, welcome to the noodle class. Summer noodle, and the second is the ramen. So this is called Tsukemen. So it's not the soup broth ramen, but it's the ramen noodle in the sauce. Tsukemen. Tsuke means the dipping. So just like the last week, we dipped the noodle into the sauce, the buckwheat noodle. So that's tsuke. So tsukemen. So tsuke means pickles or dippings into sauce. So this is the tsukemen ramen, and we're gonna do the very quick, easy one today because it's only 1 hour, 1.5 hour class. Okay, first I'm gonna be filling up a big pot with a filtered water for noodle later. So the cooking is all about thinking ahead and organizing, preparing things. So it goes smooth, and it's a great brain exercise and could be a meditation. So I'm going to fill this out while we are going through the ingredients. So you can fill yours. So the tools we're going to use: little pot for the egg, boiling the eggs, little pot saucepan for garlic oil. This is the Asian garlic oil. I'll put it in the stove. Measuring cups, fork and spoon, or chopsticks, Japanese chopsticks, sharp knife, cutting board. Ingredients. First, noodle. Today's noodle, I am using regular spaghetti, so thin spaghetti. You can use the egg noodle, or you can use rice noodle if you want to. If you want a gluten-free rice noodle or shirataki noodle, or whatever you choose. But to give a nice texture, maybe thinner ramen is better. So I'm using regular pasta, so I'm giving you a little tip to make the regular pasta into like a ramen pasta. The difference is the texture. So I like the thin ramen, so I choose the thinner pasta or angel hair. If you like the fat ramen, you can choose the regular pasta. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see the whole complete guide for making your homemade ramen noodle. 0 to 10, A to Z. And let me get the pot water. And start heating up your water, medium heat or high heat. Let's go in the average ingredients. We're using, usually the ramen have the pork belly or the pork shoulder, chashu, the barbecue pork. But today, to make it easy, I have minced pork, about 1 to 2 ounce, 2 ounce per servings, and everything is a topping actually. Egg. So ramen egg, we're making the soft boiled egg, ramen egg, this, and also salt. Green onions, so green onions for topping, and onion, garlic, ginger for the garlic oil, and I have a sprouts, in a little bit of the pickled veggies for the toppings. I have usually mung bean sprouts are for ramen, but I grow by radish sprouts. So I'm using the radish sprouts. And spice sauce. I make my own spicy sauce, the chili sauce. You can use the chili pepper or the Asian chili. And today, to make it easy, we're using store-bought soup stock. So this will give you a depth of the flavor, which called umami or koku, but you can use water to make it much easier. It will lose a little bit of the depth, but it's tasty. I'm using a chicken broth, bone broth. You can use the pork or chicken would be best. If you use the beef, it tastes like more pho, the Vietnamese noodle. Okay, now I'm gonna put the meat and egg on the stove. No, I mean near the stove, and pasta near the stove. And this ingredients, this is the key. I have a huge jar of it. Baking soda. This will make a magic to make your noodle into ramen noodle. So ramen noodle, if you make homemade one, usually you have to use water called kansui, which is an alkaline water. Make the noodle rubbery. So that's the texture you want. So instead of making a homemade noodle, you're going to add the baking soda into the boiling water, noodle cooking water. First, the eggs, keep the eggs in the room temperature. It's much better to boil it without explode. First, let's do a garlic oil. So garlic oil ingredients are this very simple: onion, garlic, ginger. But when I make it, I add burdock root or lotus root and mushroom, the shiitake mushroom, fresh one, and it will give much more extra umami and koku, which is more of the depth of the flavor. So first, let's chop up the onion. There are so many people have different ways, and this is my favorite way. Easy way. Keep the compost bowl here. You will only need a little bit today, so I'm going to use about 2 or 3 tablespoons each vegetables. So I'm going to be cutting here on the top, not all the way, just here. So it's still the first, second layers is connected, and then peel it off. And this one, I'm going to take the bottom off, and I'm going to go into a vertical along the onion. Now I'm going to flip it so the flat bottom is here. I'm going to see here. As thin as you can go. So I went this thin. And keep them in the same direction and slide it over like this. And you're gonna cut from here this way. Curl your fingers. As thin as you can go. So it's about 1/16 an inch or less cube. And the garlic. I have a nice large organic garlic from the local farmer. So nice and big. So it's so easy to chop. Now, here is the way to chop. Still the skin is on and just crush it. Then you can peel it easy. If you are making a lot of garlic, you can crush each one, put it in the container, sealed container, and then shake it hard. Then the skin will come off too. Some people use the rubber band around it and roll it to take it off. This is how I do it. Oh, one ingredient, actually, sorry, I forgot to show you the one more ingredient for this is the oil. You're using a high smoke point oil, which means that it's for deep fry, not for baking. And I'm just going to do this. So randomly goes. I am using avocado oil. If you go to the store and then see the label, most of the oil bottle says the smoke point temperature, high, medium, low. And you will choose the one it says high. The high smoke point oil are avocado oil, peanut oil, rice oil, sunflower oil, canola oil is okay. No olive oil. Olive oil is more of a medium, so it starts to smoke at the low temperature, so you don't want to use it for this. Okay, so about the same size onion now, so I'm going to put this with the onion. And ginger. So here is the ginger. First, you're going to break out, and then all the soils are here. So you're going to break first the little things, and you're going to wash it. I'm going to go wash. So I usually get organic produce from the local farmer or the local Sacramento food co-op. I live in Sacramento, near Sacramento. So I get most ingredients from the Sacramento food co-op or the farmer's market. I like leaving the skin on because you don't have to worry about the chemicals. But if you want to peel, use the spoon and scrape off like so. If the ginger is dry and an old side, it might not come off so easy, but this is how I do it. And now I'm growing my own ginger outside in the garden. Hopefully I will get ginger. Same thing, slice very thin. And slice this way. Slice this way. So ginger have so much fiber compared to onion and then garlic. So you want to cut it thoroughly. It's not a pleasant feeling when you have too much stringy ginger in your mouth. I am eyeballing it. So I have ginger, onion, garlic, all same amount. And you need the oil, the amount you need for oil is so let me get the oils. So first put the oil, just a little bit. So when you're cooking, the veggie doesn't stick on the bottom. And the veggies in. And oil to cover. Oh, I don't have enough. Let me get more. Okay, I'm mixing the sunflower oil and avocado oil. Both high smoke point oil. So cover, make sure everything is covered. And just a tiny bit above the veggies. So the veggies are a little floating. And you're gonna cook it on low to medium heat. Before you do that, you're gonna be stirring well. Then the bottom veggies don't get burnt. Then put it on the stove, medium to low heat, and keep an eye on this. Now we're gonna go to the stove and we're gonna start making sauces. First one is the Kaeshi sauce. Sake, not inexpensive one. Meeting, sweetener, those are brothers and sisters. Same ingredients. This is for meeting, it's cooking, and then it's for sweetening and shining the things. And soy sauce. You can get everything from the food co-op or the Japanese store online, but try to go local first. So I'm using the tamari soy sauce, but you can use just regular soy sauce. Tamari means there's no wheat. Well, actually, not doesn't mean wheat, but tamari doesn't usually have wheat. So you're gonna be cooking first 3 tablespoons of meeting. Three tablespoons. And if you don't have meeting, you can substitute to 2 tablespoons sake or water and 1 teaspoon sugar. And 2 tablespoons sake. I make 4 times of this quantity and then keep it in the room temperature. It will keep very long time. You don't have to put it in the refrigerator. But if you use the water, you do. Or you don't have to, but it doesn't last that much. Now you're going to be cooking this until it starts to boil. Now look at oil. Now starting to boil. I'm going to reduce the heat just a tiny bit. So it is just bubbling just a tiny bit. So I'm going to go into low heat and just wait and stir. And this is starting to boil. You don't want to stir it because if the sauce goes to the side, it will burn. Now, you're going to need the sugar. I'm using coconut sugar. But you can use the regular white sugar. I try to avoid the white refined sugar. I use maple syrup often with this sauce, and that works really well too. If you want to go really no refined sugar, maple syrup works. Agave syrup is okay. Honey, no. Honey tastes have a too much strong flavor, and honey is not really health food when you cook it. The raw honey is great beneficial for your body, but if it's cooked it changes the whole molecule, and then it just turns into something different. Now, you're going to be waiting until you smell it. And if you start to smell no alcohol, it's almost ready. And you're going to be reducing about 2/3 to half. And you cook it down. And meanwhile, have a half cup of soy sauce on the side. Half cup of soy sauce. Now it's reduced about half, so I'm going to add the sugar. 1.5 tablespoons sugar. And stir now. See the side of the pot I tilted? It's brown. So you don't want to tilt so much. Once it melts, you're going to add soy sauce and medium heat. Stir very gently, just very, very gently, so the sauce doesn't go to the side too much. And while you wait, you put things away and wash things. So you're going to wait until you're going to see a golden foam on the top. And then don't go too high on the heat, medium to probably low. And you're just warming it right now. So the heat is creating the magic to bind all these 4 ingredients. So this is about 4 serving probably. But if you want to, you can make 2 or 3, 4 times up as much, and then just use it for everything. I use it for everything. Stir fry, ramen, all the soup, Japanese noodle soup, you need this Kaeshi sauce. And even in Japan, this Kaeshi sauce is used for sushi. When they make tuna sushi, they brush this Kaeshi sauce on the tuna when you have a nigiri in Japan. So you have a tiny bit of sauce already on it. So if you master this sauce, you master the Japanese cuisine. You use this a lot. And you can use for barbecue sauce. If you add a little bit more soy sauce, a little bit more sugar, then you will get the teriyaki sauce that everybody loves. Now let me stir. So it's starting to get brown. And now start to see the golden foam on the top, and don't let it boil. You can turn it off and let it sit. This sauce becomes much more tastier or get more koku and umami if you age it in room temperature with, put it in the glass jar and then cover it with a cloth and then wait for 2 weeks usually, but you can use it right away. But it will, the longer you age, the tastier it gets. Let's go. Put a filtered water in a saucepan. I am making 4 of the soft boiled egg. If you just took out the eggs right in the refrigerator, put it in the warm water so it's not too cold. And have to have a lid. So have the lid. Now start boiling hot water. Now we're going to prepare the egg. So the egg. Here is the top of the egg and the bottom of the egg. There is an air pocket there, so you're going to have pin pushed in there, or you're going to use a spoon to just crack, but not a big crack, just a tiny crack. There. So make sure it's on the bottom. There. Oh, that was a little bit too much. And let's go back here. And I'm gonna stir the oil again, and my water for the noodle is boiling. I'm gonna turn it very low to keep it warm. And let's see if this is ready. So you're gonna need a timer. The regular size egg, you will need 7 minutes exactly from the boiling point. So once it starts to boil, we're going to be introducing the egg very slowly. I'm going to keep the egg in warm water so it doesn't explode. And wait. So while you wait, you can wash all the dishes that it's in the sink. So that way you can have a clean sink when you're done. So in Japan, when you go to a ramen store, it's the ramen store. Only ramen is served. Or sometimes the rice and then pot stickers are served. So my next class will be a pot sticker on actually the white miso making and the pot sticker after that. So if you're interested, join me. I'm going to stir the oil. And we will probably make our own skin too. So it's going to be a 2.5 hour cooking class. That's starting to boil. So meanwhile, let's get sauce ready. So this is, I'm making a 4 serving of the spicy sauce. Kaeshi sauce, bone broth, and chili sauce or chili pepper. So I'm going to add a little chili sauce here. Actually, I made this with the ume plum and then chili. and Kaeshi sauce. I forgot to put the amount of the Kaeshi sauce. So quarter cup of Kaeshi sauce is for 2 servings. So I am making for 3 to 4 people. And 2/3 cup of Dashi Soup stock for 2 servings. Oh, by the way, this is a quarter cup. Half. 1. 2. Okay, let's leave it here. Finish up the egg. Now it's very boiling. I'm going to go into a medium heat. Stir the oil. And egg slowly goes in. Oh, it's cracked already. Oh, seems like I cracked too much. In the lid, medium heat, and 7 minutes. Let's look at the oil. So it's nice and light brown right now. So I am going to stop the heat and let it set. The oil is also tastier when you let it sit for a couple of days. So I have the sauce here. I am adding a miso to this. So you can do just the soy sauce, Kaeshi sauce if you want. And if you're not using the miso, you can add more Kaeshi sauce. And I am putting 2 tablespoons of miso. So I make my own miso. So I teach twice a year at my temple, the Holistic Living Center in Fair Oaks. But this year, we couldn't do it because of the COVID shelter in place. So we're going to do it next month online, so you can join me. We're making the white miso. This is actually a red miso, and then we're going to talk about what's the difference of the red miso and white miso in the class. And we're going to do a white miso, making your homemade one, and maybe onigiri, the rice balls. So I put the miso. And then, so I am using the green onion from my garden. So it's huge. So you wash them, and you're going to be chopping very fine. The onion and garlics, depends on how you chop it, it changes the taste. So go very, very fine, otherwise it overrides all the flavors. You're going to taste just the onion. We don't want that. Always curl your fingers and stand very firmly on the ground so you're grounded. And lots of green onions. Some people love. Some of the ramen store have like filled with green onion on top of ramen. You can't even see anything else. Good for about 3 people. Now to enhance the umami and koku, there is another ingredient you can add a little bit lemon and tomatoes, like a little sour sweetness. Those two ingredients are not traditional Japanese ingredients, but they are known for umami. So umami is like a amino acid. So they have that specific amino acid that brings the umami. So you can slice up just a little bit and put on the top. The lemon, you can just squeeze tiny bit. But the lemon skin, the rind, have more flavor. So you're going to squeeze it with the lemon rind, not just inside. Okay, so eggs should be ready soon. 4 minutes. Now, after the egg, we're gonna do the sauce, finishing up the sauce. So we're gonna be needing the minced meat and the sauce that we just made. So tsukemen is the dipping kind of a sauce. It's not the broth. So in the summer, you can do a little colder side. It's usually not too hot, but not too cold. So it's warm side. But there are cold noodle. We don't call it ramen. We call it the Chinese noodle. Chuka soba, hiyashi soba, cold soba, but it's not buckwheat. So it's the ramen noodle, egg noodle with the almost like a ponzu sauce with this garlic oil and the Kaeshi sauce and a little bit of the lemon or vinegar. And you cook the noodle and then cool it. Everything is cool. And then you top with the chopped green onion, tomato, or okra, or the egg, chopped very fine eggs. So that's a very popular summer noodle dish too. But I did a tsukemen today. Okay, so timer's gonna go off. I'm gonna cool it. Cool the egg. I broke it. And go into the running water. Now that egg, you can peel it and then soak it in the Kaeshi sauce for half day to full day. Then you're gonna get the perfect ramen flavored egg. Today I'm not gonna do anything, so it's not flavored, it's just soft boiled. You can also soak it, just like the recipe says, soak in the salty water for 30 minutes and then you'll get the nice saltiness. Now, I want the sauce to be not too hot, so I'm going to use just half of my sauce to cook up the meat. So the meat, when you're cooking the meat, start with the cold and cook in a very low heat longer, and then your meat is not going to get too dry or hard. It will stay soft and moist. But for demonstration purpose, I'm going to go a little bit quicker to cook it. Actually, I'm going to go low. So while this meat is cooking, let's cook the noodle. So, thinking ahead of time, because when the noodle is ready, you want everything to be served right away. So have your dishing bowl ready. And serving place ready. And let's cook the noodle. High heat. So, about a lot of baking soda, 1 tablespoon per 1 serving. And then a little bit more water, hot water. So I am cooking about 3 to 4. So 1, 2, 3. So the reason I have that much baking soda in the kitchen is because I use baking soda for everything. Cleaning is all with baking soda. It's amazing. And cleaning the silver is baking soda with aluminum foil baking soda and hot water. And then put your silver jewelries there and pour the hot water over, and instantly you can clean it. It's like a magic. And you clean everything with the baking soda, sink, and the tea cups. If they have the brown stain in there, use the baking soda and then polish it. It comes right off. It's really great. So 3 servings, I'm using about like a 1 pound of noodle. So when you're cooking the noodle, always make sure it's boiling hard. And keep an eye on your meat sauce. Stir it every once in a while. So just like a different than the soba noodle, the pasta, you're gonna go vertical. Because I'm Japanese and not Italian, I'm gonna use the chopstick, saibashi, to stir it. This pot is not really big enough for the pasta. And read the direction of the package that you have. Al dente, it's great. And stir it every once in a while, but don't over stir it. Just to make sure the noodles are separated. Wait. Mine says about, what is it, 11 minutes. So I'll go about 10 minutes. If it's, say 11, I'll put the timer on 1 minute less than that and then check it when it beeps. Sticking out. Okay, let's check on the meat. So make sure it's all cooked all the way. Minced meat, you can just tell by the color. I'm gonna take the oil to the serving place. All the toppings to the serving place, and then the sauce is ready. And the egg, you can crack it there. I have a ceramic artist friend, and then I am going to order a ramen bowl from her. Her bowls are beautiful. She's on Etsy, called Koide Studio, Koide Studio. go on Etsy and find her. It's amazing. So I'm gonna be ordering the ramen bowl because I have now this one. It's not quite good shape. Now this is done. I'm gonna be adding to the sauce that you just made. And taste it, and then you can add miso, spice, hot, or Kaeshi sauce to adjust. I'm gonna taste it. That's pretty salty side. And this is not a broth, so its salty side is good because it's a sauce. So I'm gonna bring it to the table. Last week was buckwheat noodle. So Japanese noodle, you're gonna be cook. After you cook the noodle, you're gonna wash it in the cold water and serve it hot or cold. But this ramen, you don't wash. Because it's a Chinese noodle, not the Japanese noodle. Yeah, you can tell it's not ready yet. Okay, meanwhile, let's crack the eggs. Let me put in the bowl. So, egg cleans, shell comes off so easy if you crack on the bottom. Some people say the egg is too fresh, you have hard time peeling. Some people say it's because old. So, I do not know. What I know is you can do a little trick and then make it easy later to peel. Beautiful, soft egg. Now, you have to have an organic and fresh egg to do this. Otherwise, you don't want to eat the raw egg. Okay, the egg and egg. And here is the sauce. Here is the oil. Toppings. Now you are going to put the sauce here. Just about that much. And I'm gonna go check the noodle. Just 1 more minute. And I have this cabbage, pickled cabbage. I wouldn't call it sauerkraut, but it's kind of like a sauerkraut. You can do the just salt and then cabbage. It's just the easiest pickled or fermented veggie you can do. I usually use preserved lemon or kombu sometimes to enhance the flavor, koku umami. My cooking is all about koku and umami. So the kimchi making will be, class will be together with, I think I'm going to be putting together with the white miso making in the next class. So probiotic is so important for your gut health. And then everybody have a poor health now. The digestive system is so weak. So it's great to have the strong digestive system, and then your whole body is going to be healthy. Now I'm going to drain the pasta noodle. So since I have the secondary colander, I'm going to be shaking really well. Shake it really well so that your sauce doesn't get diluted. And now the noodle goes. So make sure that your family or friends are already sitting so they can eat this noodle right away. Oh, the chopstick doesn't work well for this. Let me go get the thong. So because the noodle sticks, once you serve the noodle, just do a little swish, swish, swish. Yeah. And onions. I'll put just a tiny bit of this. This is so salty side, so you don't want to put too much. And here is the garlic oil. You have a lot of garlic oil, crunchy veggies. You want to have both oil and the crunchy veggies, about 1 teaspoon on the top. And the egg, and sprouts. And sprouts. This is messy. And this is how you serve. Right side on the hand side if you're right-handed, and always on in front of the food. Now this chopsticks makes a border and then threshold from my world and the food world, which means humans world here and the nature world here. And we do a blessing. Say, itadakimasu. Let me go this way. So itadakimasu means that you are receiving something with respect. So itadakimasu means that thank you for the food, thank you for the chef, thank you for the farmers, thank you for everybody who brought this food on this table. And when you're doing the blessings, it will be telling your body that this food is going to be a nourishment for your body instead of a toxic. So even though if you're eating the junk food, you can say itadakimasu and it's going to be amazing blessings. So preparing your body for the food, and then food worth thanking. So the best nutrition you can take to your body is the vitamin G. So gratitude. So itadakimasu, we're going to do this, chest and together, hands together, and itadakimasu. So we're taking the life from the plants, taking the life from the universe. And that will nourish our body, becoming a nutrition for us. So in one word, so many things in it. and then we are crossing the boundary to reach to the food. So, いただきます。Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see. So next week is the last one called udon noodle.